Freebies! You guys, you probably know by now how much I freaking love talking about freebies. Freebies are so cool because they're like your absolute first impression for your ideal client. And they make such a huge impact on your business if you can just set them up right in the first place. So that's what we're talking about this week. I really want you guys to continue working on everything we've been working on so far, getting really good at articulating your message and talking about your thing in a way that makes sense to your ideal clients. All of that stuff we've already been doing. Keep doing that, and we're going to apply this same principle to our freebie. We want to use all this information that we've already gathered about our ideal clients and our offer and that overall client journey that we're working toward, and put it into this freebie format so that we can build our email list full of actual real ideal clients and have this awesome community of people who love us and who are ready to buy things from us. So that is the purpose of why we're doing this. And you guys, if you've been in my group for a while, you've probably heard me say this before, like, you want your freebie to be so good that it blows their pants off. I like always, these little emojis are always right next to each other in my little emoji palette because I say that so often. But for real, like, you want to blow their pants off with how valuable your freebie is. So let's talk about kind of freebies in general and how to really make yours stand out. So this stuff right here, I want you guys to read this for real because this is really important stuff right here. Especially this paragraph. Like, your freebie is not, like, it shouldn't be to try to give them some kind of groundbreaking revelation of, something they've never heard before. Because in reality, people can learn anything on the internet. Like, whatever you're doing is not like revolutionary and groundbreaking. Sorry, not sorry. Like, maybe your processes and your methods are different, and that's totally cool. But at the end of the day, the actual knowledge, the actual thing, they can learn from anyone, right? So that's not what we want to build the freebie around. We want to build it around us and our personality and the way that we teach it, and what makes it different is us, right? So like for me, brand strategy, people can learn this stuff from anyone, right? It's all about like the way that we are presenting and organizing the information. People can get information for free absolutely anywhere. People will pay you because of the way that you present and organize the information, and you connect with them on that personal level. That's what we want to do with our freebie. We want to set the tone for that entire relationship and really give them the best freaking first impression possible about what the information is. So again, using my business as an example, like, most people that take my archetype quiz have already taken some kind of brand archetype quiz before. The archetypes are not my thing. They were, developed back in the 40s by Carl Jung. And so many people have archetype quizzes. The reason mine is so powerful is because my personality is all throughout that thing. I ask the questions in a different way than other people do. And the results that I show on the results pages are completely different than what everyone else is doing. But the core of what it is, discovering your archetype, that's the same thing. So you really have to remember that when you're creating your freebie, and remember that it's you at the end of the day that you're trying to sell and what makes you different. So again, we've been doing this the whole time. That's what we've been doing the last few weeks. So go back to those first few modules, like week 1 and week 2, if you're struggling with that. But like, you, at the end of the day, it's you that makes you different, not your thing. So make sure that that is getting incorporated into your freebie. What I don't want is a bunch of like checklists on, how to organize your books for your business that could literally be downloaded from any other bookkeeper on the entire planet. Like, make sure you are putting you in here. This is what we've been building up to. So really read through this. And then this part about value. We've talked about this a lot on our calls lately too, which I'm glad. Like, you don't need to be everything for everyone, and you don't need to give them every single answer in the freebie. Like, value, does not equal more information or deeper level information. Value means you're saying the right thing in the right way to that right person, and it just makes it click differently. It makes them think about it differently than they had been before, and they get to know you and they resonate with you. That's what's valuable. Hearing it in a new way that resonates deeply with them. So that's where all this stuff comes back in. You have to know who your ideal client is, and you have to know what they want and where they're struggling. If you're not clear on that yet, go back, go get clear, go get really, really, really clear on that before you try to do this freebie stuff. Otherwise, you're going to be spinning your wheels, because that's what's really going to make your freebie kick ass, as opposed to just be another freebie in a file folder of doom on someone's desktop. Okay, so part one is like figuring out what the freebie is. That's like the core of this. Like, what are we going to offer? So there's some really good guidelines in here. And some of this we've talked a little bit about before, but some of this is really new. So I want you to go through, and same thing with all these other exercises that we do, like really dig into this stuff. If you're not in a place to, to really like dig deep and think about these things, then, do it later. Make sure you're in that right space where you're not just like plugging in answers so you can get it done. That's not what this is about. This is about digging really deep and understanding what is going to move the needle for your ideal client. So this first one is really, really, really important. They have to know that they need it. And for some businesses, that's not as big of a deal as others. But for me, this one's huge, because I've told you guys this before. Most people, when they first come to me, they don't know that they need brand strategy. They think they need a logo, and they think they need a website, and they think they're stuck because they don't know what color represents their personality and how to make it feel like them, right? So if I go out and I have a freebie, like my quiz, even if it's the same quiz, but my quiz is like figure out your brand archetype or create your brand strategy, or what does your brand strategy look like, that's not going to resonate with them, because that's not what they think the problem is. So they have to know that they need it. This one is really, really, really crucial. And you guys, again, we've been doing this already. In our Ideal Client Research Week, we went through and we answered all of these questions. Like, where are they in their journey right now? And what do they know that they need? Like, what do they think is the next step that's going to get them to where they want to be? What do they know that they need? So that's step one. Like, that really is the foundation for all of this. Don't worry about giving away too much, for real. This is a question that I get a lot of times when I talk about freebies, so I wanted to put this in here. Like, there's no such thing as giving away too much information. I've said this before, but I could literally give you every single thing that you need in a checklist or in a mini course, or tell you my entire process, every single thing that I do with my clients. But that doesn't make me less valuable, because at the end of the day, people still need help implementing, and they need help, to actually go out and get the results. This is so, so true, especially in like health and fitness world. Like, everybody knows the answer already to health and fitness, right? Eat right, move more, eat healthier things, don't eat crap. Everybody knows those answers, right? So giving them a freebie that's like, telling them that over and over again, that's not going to be helpful. They need to like hear it differently, and you can't give away too much. Like, give them your exact strategy, give them your exact method, and that would be totally fine, because they're still going to need help implementing it. So I really, really don't want you to worry about this at all. Like, people will still need you. They'll still want to pay you to work with you, even if you give them the process and the freebie. So that doesn't mean your freebie has to be your process either. Like, my quiz has nothing to do with my process, but just as an example, like, you can't give them too much. They're always going to need more help. You can't change anyone's life with a freebie. They still need you. So what would make them really, really excited? What would make them think like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she's giving me this, just because other people in the industry don't typically do it? What would get them really, really excited? A quick win. This one's really important too. Like, you don't need to give them like an entire novel of stuff to read. Like, freebies should be like quick and simple, and something that is going to have a big impact without, taking a bajillion years to see any results. So what can they do right the heck now that's going to move the needle even just a teeny tiny bit? They don't need a major life transformation here. And that's a tendency that I think we get sucked into, trying to make freebies like, oh, it's not good unless they see some huge drastic transformation, when in reality, just something super, super simple that makes the tiniest little improvement to their day-to-day life is going to make a huge, huge impact for them. So what is a quick win? What is something that they're looking for right now? So like, again, for my quiz, a quick win is like, okay, I know that you just want these color palettes and you're trying to figure out what colors and what fonts to pick. I put that in the PDF results. Like, that's a quick win for them. They think, oh my gosh, yes, this is the colors I've been looking for. And it's in those PDFs. And it's so good for them to just like see some results immediately, see something moving in the right direction immediately. Even though, again, at the end of the day, I know that's not the real answer, but they're not there yet, right? They're not to that point yet. So I have to get them to that point. That's my goal. But give them what they want. Give them what they want quickly. A title is super, super important. I think you guys know this by now. It shouldn't be anything like super hard to do either. It doesn't need to be like some revolutionary, like super catchy. You don't need to spend a ton of time on this. This isn't like naming your business. It needs to be specific on what it is, what the end result is, and who it's for. Like what the problem is that you're solving. Like, so instead of just being really vague, like 5-step bookkeeping checklist, like get your books in order and keep the IRS off your ass for good. Like, use the same method that we used when we were talking about our offers. Like, what is it? What's the benefit of that? And then what's the benefit of the benefit? Really brainstorm using those same tools that we've already been using and just apply it to this title. But make sure it's different, and it's not just something that's like so super boring. You put your own language, your own personality, your own spin on it, whatever it is, whatever that looks like. Okay. This one is really, really important too. All of these things are important, but I want to show you guys here in a second. I want to show you something that I think will be really powerful and illustrate my point really well. But you have to remember that like there is so much information out on the internet, and there are so many freebies. And if you don't like get it right, you're gonna just end up in the trash can, and they're never gonna remember who you are. So this is like the method, or the way that I like to teach it, so that doesn't happen. So for me, my quiz is highly memorable. And what that means is like it's so different. It gives them such different results, and it's so cool, and says completely different things than everyone else in my industry, that they're going to remember it. It's not something that like you take it and you forget about it. I have people all the time who I work with now, or who I work with like a year after they've taken my quiz, and they're like, I still go back and look at those quiz results, and I like, this is so me, and they just don't forget it. So giving something that's so different like that is really powerful. Also, it's kind of hard to do. So I'm not going to lie and say that was easy for me to do. It took me a really long time to develop my quiz and to do that. And I spent a lot of time and energy getting it right. So if you're not there yet, or if you don't have the time or energy to, put into something like that's going to be just like so different, then go with the other option, long-term functional. That's so great too. And all that means is the example in here is really good. Like, instead of just having a checklist of things that you need to do, and they open it and they're like, oh, cool. That was really good information, but now I know I'm just going to dump this in the trash, and there's no reason for me to ever look at it again or ever think about it again, versus a monthly checklist of stuff that's going to be really helpful every single month, so that I am going to keep this, and either I'm going to print it out, or I'm going to put it on my calendar to pull up this checklist on the first of every month to go through my bookkeeping, as the example I have here. But really, really think about just simple tweaks and shifts that you can, put into your freebies so that there is a reason to pull it back out again and look at it again. And like I said, neither one of these is better or worse than the other. It's just, if you don't have some kind of something like this in there, you're going to end up in the freebie folder of doom or the trash can. So I want to show you this. Let me get it pulled up real quick. On my on my own computer, I have this whole folder here of just freebies, freebies downloads. So let me share my thing over here. So this is my downloads folder. You can see all of these things in here are freebies. So this is actually the good part. Like, if you have your own folder, that means I liked your content. So you can see this stuff in here. Like, and maybe I've downloaded more than one thing from these people, and that's why they're, they have their own folder. This right here is where you don't want to be. This miscellaneous. These are all freebies. And I guarantee you, I have not opened or looked at any of these since I downloaded them. Look, 9/18/17. Like, I don't know who these people are. I don't know what they are. This is where you don't want to be, over here. This is the next step up, at least for me. And of course, you guys know I'm like OCD with organization or whatever. Most people probably don't even save them to their computer at all. They probably have a folder in their email system, and they probably don't even make it this far. This is me being OCD, but this is what I don't want to happen to your freebies, though, is to end up somewhere like this where they never come back out again, and there's no reason to ever look at it again. So try to at least aim for something that I'm going to go back. I've put it in a system so that I can find it easily because I liked it. At least aim for that. So, and then of course, like I said too, there's a whole bunch of freebies that never even made it there. They just went straight in the trash can. So people, again, remember this always. People are super lazy on the internet. If you make it difficult for them, if it's really long, if it's really hard to find the point or get to the actual message of what you're doing, it's going to go in the trash can. People are lazy. And then, people are also really selfish, especially on the internet. Like, if it's not something that's really helpful for them, if it's not something that they believe that they're going to see results from, they're not going to do it. Like, they're not going to use it. So really just keep that in mind. And all of this, again, comes back to that ideal client. Like, you have to know them so well that you know what they want. And if you're not that clear yet, go back to that ideal client stuff and do it again and keep doing it until you're really clear on where are they right now, what do they want right now that's going to help them get results, and then just give it to them. Just give it to them. Like, I don't want you guys to spend forever creating your freebie, but at the same time, this should not be like pop it up in 5 minutes and it's done. That's not what this is about. This is your very first impression. This is your chance to blow their pants off. Like, really put time and energy into this. This isn't just a pop it up to get people on my email list thing. This is creating that relationship and setting the foundation for how everything is going to go from here. So really, really, really think about those things. Put the energy into this, into this, if nothing else. So this last one's really simple, but just think about the format. Like, quizzes are super cool. I know everybody wants to do a quiz. Keep in mind, though, like I said, I put a lot of time and effort and energy into the quiz. So some things take longer than others. Some things are easier. But you don't have to just have one freebie either. Remember, like, right now, I pretty much just use my quiz because it is really powerful, but I have other freebies too, and I have had some in the past that I don't use anymore. I have some random things floating around Pinterest that I don't actively promote, but people will find them sometimes. So really think about what's going to be the most impactful for your client right now, but also what can you actually get started with right now? I don't want you guys to stay stuck here like, oh, I need to have a quiz. I just have to have a quiz. And it's going to take you 3 months to create it, when you could be like getting the same results from just choosing something right now that's going to help you get there faster. So think about it, like money-making activities. What can you do right now that's going to have the most impact and is going to help you bring in clients and income faster? So even if you want a kick-ass quiz long-term, cool. use this, go through these brainstorming exercises, go through this module and come up with it. But that doesn't mean that you can't have a really, really awesome checklist right now, or a kick-ass email challenge, like 3-part video email challenge that you can still put the same energy and effort into, but get it up so much faster so that you can start building your list, building your community, making offers, and making money. Then you're going to have more time to focus on creating that kick-ass quiz down the road, because you're not constantly worried about making money, right? So really think about what format is going to be good for you and for your ideal clients. You still want to make that impact and that good first impression, but this doesn't need to take forever. Like, I want you guys to get these up and get these out. And I think most of us in this group already at least have a start. Like, I don't think there's a ton of us who are starting completely from scratch. If you are, that's totally cool too. But, go into it with the freebie that you already have, unless you just absolutely hate it, and think about ways you can make it better. Like, I really, really want you guys to get this stuff out there. Like, this program is all about implementation, not planning. I don't want us to stay stuck too long. So, bonus here, design is important. I can't, continue any further without saying that. Like, if your PDF is hideous and ugly, then you lose points. I mean, again, this is first impression. There are so many easy, free ways that you can make stuff look nice. Canva is really cool. There's all kinds of other things like Canva. You can even find a really cheap person somewhere that just, you give them the text, and you just say, here, make this pretty. These are the colors and fonts that I want. That's stuff that's like Fiverr or stuff like that. That's one of the few things those companies are good for. Just make it pretty real quick. It doesn't need to be anything super fancy, but sloppy or hard to read or just super boring is not good either. Again, first impression here. It really, really does matter. Okay, so part 2, you got to have a plan. Luckily, that's what we've been doing this whole time, is coming up with a plan. So think about your entire client journey and what the funnel actually looks like. So I know the word funnel tends to freak people out, because they're like, oh my gosh, that's so much work. It's all these fancy techie systems and all this crazy elaborate crap. When in reality, we've already done most of this work. Our funnel is already pretty much created, other than the techie stuff. So this is where I really want you to go back and make sure that everything is in line. Once you have that freebie idea, make sure it logically flows into that next piece of your funnel. So, and I even gave you a handy little funnel chart on the next page, but you've already done most of this work. So we've been practicing already, posting and writing to our audience and building those connections and letting them get to know us and trust us and building those relationships. We've already been doing that. We're going to apply that same stuff into our freebie, and it's going to be really powerful. And we've already been talking to them, so they already know us, so they're going to be more likely to sign up for the freebie in the first place, right? We've already done this. We're creating our freebie right now. We already know what we're leading them towards, right? We know how, the easy yes, and we know what our main offer is. We really just want to make sure that all of these pieces are in line, right? So, and really why this is here is to make sure that your freebie logically fits in. If your main offer is like health and fitness and, wellness overall, it's mostly like mindset pieces and, shifting your mindset around food and behaviors and patterns. And it's very on this woo-woo-y type side over here. If that's what your main offer is and your foot in the door, then giving them a freebie that's like recipes is not logically leading into this, right? So maybe your freebie needs to be something more powerful and, more in line with what your actual offer is, because otherwise it's going to be much harder to transition from this into getting them to give you money for something that's totally different, right? So really just make sure that your freebie is logically in line with what you're doing, and it's going to lead them through that funnel. So this part is really important. Look, I made it all caps here. This is the secret. Each one of these things the goal of it is to get them to move to the next thing. So read that again. Like, the goal of it is to get them to move to the next thing. The goal of a freebie is not to blow their mind and change their entire life. The goal of a freebie is to get them to realize the value of what you're saying so that they're interested in learning more about working with you and really applying that information to their life and seeing massive results and transformations. We're not giving them massive results and transformations in the freebie. The freebie gives them what they need to make the decision to move forward. So think about it like, again, this goes back to our ideal client research. I'm going to keep saying it over and over and over again, but you know where they're stuck. You know what their fears are. For me, I can't, like, I say I can't, but I don't jump to like high level clients right off the bat from a cold audience, like one-on-one clients. I get them in the door, my foot in the door with the lower end things, and get them to see the value over time through this. So get their foot in the door. My goal with my freebie is to make them see that, yes, you want your personality in it, but the answer isn't what you think it is. I give them what they want, but I also give them what they need in that freebie so that they can make the decision for themselves to, okay, maybe I do need more. Maybe I do need this brand strategy intensive. That's what my foot in the door is. Maybe I do need this intensive to really think through my brand strategy and realize that, okay, maybe the logo and the website is not the answer. And then at the end of the strategy, my goal with this offer is not to give them every single thing they need to go out and take over the world with their business. My goal is to give them a plan, a strategy, and an action plan. And it makes them see the value of moving forward. It makes them see, okay, this is really cool. All this stuff is really powerful. Now I need help implementing it. So make sure that the information you're giving them, whether it's free or paid, is designed to help them move along in the journey. It's not designed to change their life. Like, ain't nobody's life getting changed from a freebie. That's just not how it works, right? You can have, a revelation or a light bulb go off, or, some really powerful something to make them think about it differently. But at the end of the day, you want them to keep going. You need them to keep going through, not only because, of course, you guys, this is a business, we need to make money, but also for them, right? Like, that taking a quiz is not going to solve all of their problems. They need to go do the work. So what do you need to tell them? What is it that they're stuck on? Why do they think it's not going to work for them? What are their fears around it that are holding them back? What would they need to hear or do in order to feel confident enough and excited enough to move forward to that next step? That's what these are about. So really go through, what's this say? Okay, so if you're like, and I go into this in more detail into this Raving Superfan Challenge. So if you go on your dashboard, day 1 and day 2 are about, this client journey and these freebies. So that will be really helpful too. But really go through, like, I even made it a cute little funnel for you. Like, this is the end result. This is where you want them to be. So what do they need to hear in your initial offer, your foot in the door, in order to make them see the value here? And then same thing with your nurture sequence and your freebie. So this right here, I don't want you to spend too much time on this block right here, because this is what we're doing next week. Next week, we're writing the actual emails. But I do want you to go ahead and think through what do they need to hear to get them there. So my freebie is my archetype quiz, my brand archetype quiz. The purpose of taking this quiz is to make them realize that colors, can't type today, and fonts are not the answer. That's not what it is. And then in my email sequence, I tell them, okay, what is the answer? Give them the answer. I go through, it's a 5-part thing in my email sequence that is like every single piece of what I teach here in BBL and what we go through in my one-on-one programs. It starts with getting clear on who you are and how you stand out, understanding your ideal clients, coming up with a plan, like all of these things. That's what they need to hear in order to decide that, okay, this is the next logical right step for me. Everything she's talking about in these emails, makes me realize, okay, I'm stuck on those same things. This is obviously the answer. I should probably do this. And then I just, I explained this just a second ago. Like once they're in, then it's like, okay, let's come up with a plan. Here's, what you need to do to get the result that you want, that you're looking for, and here's how you do it. You can continue and do it yourself, absolutely, or you can get help and support with implementation and accountability with me. So really think through, like, what is the purpose of each one of these things, and make sure they logically flow to the next one. And again, you might have more than one little funnel right here, right? Like I'm doing these website templates that I'm going to give you guys, but I'm also going to sell those separately right now. So my freebie for that will be different. I'm going to do a workshop is going to be my freebie for that. And then the emails after the workshop are going to, solidify what I said in the workshop even further and make it really, really apparent that they need these website templates to move forward. So really, don't get stuck on don't get stuck on trying to give them every single answer to every single thing here. Make it logically flow from one thing to the next to what you want the end result to be. And if you can't get from your freebie to here, then you need to readjust your freebie. You need to think of, a different way to position your freebie or to talk about it, or a different freebie or whatever it is to get to the offer that you really want them to be in, right? So really think through that. And then the last part, the techie stuff. Everybody always has all the techie questions. So the reason this is part 3, please, please, please go in order, okay? This is part 3 because it's really hard to make all of these high-level decisions and create really impactful content when you're worried about how to embed shit on a lead page. Like, that's not where you want your energy to be. You don't want to come from that place from when you're creating this content over here. So get everything done, get it really clear, decide what you want to do, and then figure out how to get it online. This is all techie stuff. This is stuff that should not consume any more of your energy than it needs to. So these are also in order. Like, these are the things that you need to have in place to make it happen. Again, after you're done creating your idea and you love your freebie, then move on to this stuff. And go in this order because it will make it so much easier. Again, when you're trying to do all of the things at once, you get overwhelmed. One step at a time, y'all. Do one thing at a time and then move on to the next one. So get your freebie up and get it, where you like it. Here's some recommendations for things that I've used. I talked about Canva already. You can host videos on YouTube. This is the quiz platform that I use. This is the one that I used before. It was cheaper. And a note here, it only works on WordPress, but like, get your freebie ready, get it created, get it looking nice, get it however it needs to be so that it's done. Get that done first. Then make sure you have your email system set up. I think most of us do have an email system set up already. If you don't, that's totally okay. Go ahead and get that set up. I used MailChimp when I first started out. Now I use ActiveCampaign. MailerLite is it's a free one also that's really cool. If you just don't want to use MailChimp, it doesn't matter what you use. I don't care what you use, as long as you get some kind of email system set up that you know how to work. Like, all of them pretty much do the same thing at the end of the day. So pick the one that you feel the most comfortable using and that you're not scared of. Like, if you're scared to get in there and figure stuff out, that's probably not the right one for you. Pick ones that have really good support. Pick ones that have like tutorial videos, and that's why I like MailChimp. Again, this one's good too. MailChimp is just so huge that there are so many resources out there for how to use it. Like, there's 80 bajillion YouTube videos on how to do all the things in MailChimp is the reason that I recommend that one. But like I said, I don't care what you use. Just get it set up and get it ready. Then you need a landing page for them to sign up for your freebie. So there's really 2 different ways to do this here. And again, if you think about it in terms of ideal client journey, this is going to make perfect sense. So you have one potential client over here in random Facebook world where you're posting on, in your Facebook group, or you're posting in someone else's Facebook group, or you're posting on Instagram, or whatever it is that you're doing. Then you would probably want to have a separate landing page, because that way you're talking about your freebie. It's like, hey, I have this new really cool thing. go here to sign up for it. And you want to make it, again, people are lazy. You want to make it as easy as possible for them to find the thing that they're looking for, okay? So I like to create separate landing pages. This is also really helpful later on down the road when you want to like get super techie and like track analytics and decide if people came from Facebook or Instagram or all these techie things. This is the way that I would do it if it were me, is I would create a separate landing page for my freebie. But at the same time, the other way is to just put it on your homepage or put it on a website page. That way, if people come across your website on their own without you directing them there, they'll be able to find this that way too. So, and that's what I mean when I say I do both. So I have landing pages for my quiz. I direct people to my quiz and I say, here, I have this really cool quiz. It will help you, blah, blah, blah. Click here to go take the quiz, and it goes straight to that landing page. Whereas if people stumble across me on Pinterest for some random other blog post that I wrote, I still want them to be able to find the quiz too, right? So I want to have it on there as well, but like go with whatever you're gonna go with whatever's easier right now so that you can start promoting it. I don't want you to get hung up on this nerdy techie stuff. I want you to get it somewhere so that you can tell people, go here to download my freebie or take my quiz or sign up for my video series or whatever it is. I don't care where it is as long as it's somewhere. Like I said, this is what I do. This is what I focus on, but it is also on my website as well. It's in my menu bar so that people can find it easily. Again, pick one, go with one. I want you to be able to go out as soon as this is ready and say, I have this awesome thing, go sign up for it here, and give them a link to somewhere. This one's really simple too, a thank you page after they sign up. So literally all it just says is, hey, thanks for signing up. Check your email, you'll get it in a minute. And then I also like to invite them to join my Facebook group. If you don't have a group, that's cool. You could say like, come follow me on Instagram or come, invite them into your community further, whatever that looks like for you. But just take advantage of their attention here and put another call to action there. And these things too, like these can go just on your regular website. I use lead pages now, but I didn't use lead pages at first. I just did it on my regular WordPress website. You can make landing pages there. You can make as many pages as you want, right? You can do it on any of the platforms. It doesn't really matter. You can embed these little forms, these sign-up forms on any platform. So just to check, I just did it like a quick Google search and said how to embed a MailChimp form onto a Weebly website or a Wix website. And so many tutorial videos came up. Like this doesn't need to be difficult, and you don't need to add any other fancy software unless you just want to. I said I use lead pages because I like to track analytics, but I didn't do that at first. I just made a regular old page on my regular old WordPress website to do this. So don't let that get in your head. Don't think you have to like be scared of all of this stuff. This checklist right here is going to keep it as simple as possible to get it up and get people on your email list right now. So the next one goes back to your actual email system. So, go back into MailChimp or whatever you're using, and you have to set up some kind of automation sequence. That's usually what they call it. And all that means is as soon as they sign up, as soon as they put in their name and email and hit submit, they're going to automatically get that email. That's all that means. It just means that you don't have to go through and manually send them an email every time someone signs up. Ain't nobody got time for that. So it's a very simple automation sequence. Again, all of these have really good tutorials. All these ones that I recommended had good tutorials on how to do it. There's also stuff, if you go in this Automate Your Biz and Save Your Sanity mini course on your dashboard, you all have access to that. I go through MailChimp and ActiveCampaign on how to do some of this stuff too. So don't let this be an excuse for you. There are so many resources for free for how to get this done, but it's a very simple, automation sequence is really all it is. Sign up. Once they join your list, automatically send this email immediately. That's all you need to do. And then decide how you're going to talk about it. Where you're going to post it in Facebook groups or on Instagram or whatever it is. What are you going to say? Like when you're talking about it, what are you going to put on the landing page to to make them see the value. And I usually do use the same copy. Like whatever copy is on the landing page is what is in my post that I talk about it too. So I like to have a really powerful statement at the beginning, like some kind of title, like if you're struggling with this, or whatever the pain point is, then take my quiz, and the sexy title for the quiz, and then 3 to 5 bullet points about why it's going to blow their pants off. Like, what is the benefit of the benefit? Those really powerful statements. That's what I put in the Facebook post to promote it. And that's the same copy that's on the landing page on the site. It doesn't need to be fancy or elaborate. You don't need to have all these huge, big processes. Like, these are the things that you need so that you can go get people on your email list right the heck now. That's what I want you to do. So I mentioned before, on that funnel page, next week, we're going to dig into that, the welcome sequence that comes after. So they get the initial download, and then what happens. So I don't want you to worry about that right now. I want you to really focus on your freebie and just make sure that it's all in line, and that you're going to be able to tell them something in these emails to logically move them to the next step. That's all I want you to do with your email sequence right now, because we're going to dig into it more. So really get this stuff taken care of. This stuff should not be super scary or overwhelming. And if you need more help, post in the Facebook group. I know there's a lot of us in here who have already done these things, so we can help each other out. This automation mini course too, there's more stuff in there to help you out. But please, please, please don't let this keep you stuck. This is techie, goofy stuff. This is not where we want to focus our time and energy. So use this checklist, use the resources, help each other out, and get your freebie out into the world. So I want to see this stuff, y'all. Like, go put your freebie ideas into the Facebook group, and let's help each other. Let's talk about these things and get them out into the world as soon as we freaking possibly can. Okay. I'm super, super, super excited to see all of your freebies. Let me know if you have any questions at all. And I am really looking forward to the Q&A for this one. So I can't wait to talk to you guys about this stuff even more.